One of the most common frustrations I hear from entrepreneurs, CEOs, business owners, and managers is this: we're posting consistently, but nobody is buying. We're running ads, but sales are not coming. We already have followers. Why aren't they converting? The immediate reaction is often to blame the marketing team, the platform, the algorithm, the content, or even the product. But what if the problem is simpler? You are trying to sell before you have built enough relationship for people to trust you. This is one of the biggest shifts I want business leaders to understand.
Anything shall lights the road ahead, turning every thought to hope instead, building trust with every move we make, creating value that no storm can shake. Inside the brand where big ideas ignite.
Marketing is not simply about creating content. Branding is not simply about looking professional. Sales is not simply about asking someone to buy. These are disciplines of vision and implementation. And like any discipline, they require time, consistency, resources, and an understanding of human behavior. You don't meet someone and immediately ask them to marry you. Imagine meeting someone for the first time. You introduce yourself, then 5 minutes later say, "Would you marry me?" It sounds ridiculous because relationships have a process. You need to know the person, understand them, establish trust, spend time together, experience consistency. Business works in a similar way, yet many businesses enter social media and immediately behave like a salesperson shouting, "Buy now, promo today, order now." There is nothing wrong with selling. The problem is selling without relationship. Your customer may not be ready yet. That doesn't automatically mean your product is bad. They may still be asking, "Who are you? Can I trust you? Is this really for me? Does this business understand my problem? Will I get what they are promising?" Those questions need answers before many customers are ready to buy. That is the psychology of the buyer. Marketing has a timeline. One of the biggest mistakes I see is expecting marketing to produce immediate results simply because the business is ready to sell. But your readiness to sell does not automatically mean your customer is ready to buy. You may launch a product today, create a social media page today, hire a marketing team today, and approve an advertising budget today. But your customer does not suddenly wake up tomorrow and say, "I've never heard of this company before, but I completely trust them." Trust takes time to accumulate. This is why marketing and branding must be treated as business disciplines, not emergency activities activated whenever sales are low. If you want a result, you have to respect the time required for the psychology of the buyer to develop. Traditional business has an advantage. Imagine opening a new restaurant. You put up your signage, train your staff, distribute flyers, invite people, offer samples, and talk to the neighborhood. Your employees personally interact with potential customers. You can observe reactions and adjust your approach. You control much of what happens inside your physical space. You might spend several weeks consistently marketing before people begin recognizing your restaurant. Then someone says, "I've heard about that place." Another says, "My friend recommended it." Eventually, momentum begins. That process takes time, and that's normal. Digital marketing is not automatically faster. Now move online. A business owner thinks it's digital. Everything should happen faster. Not necessarily. Digital marketing adds another layer because you're working inside platforms you don't control. Facebook has its own system, Instagram has its own system, TikTok has its own system, YouTube has its own system, Google has its own system. These platforms change and their algorithms influence what gets visibility. Unlike your physical store, you don't control the digital space. You participate inside someone else's platform. That means your strategy cannot simply be post this today and expect sales tomorrow. You have to learn the platform, understand the audience, create consistently, study what works, and adjust to changes. Most importantly, you have to give people enough time to understand who you are. The algorithm doesn't buy from you. Here is what every CEO and business owner should remember. The algorithm does not buy your product. The bot does not walk into your store. A human being does. And human beings have psychology. Technology changed the environment, it did not change the human being. People still need trust. They compare options, they hesitate, they ask friends, they need a reason to believe their money is safe with you. That is why there is no magical shortcut to building a brand. Think in months, not days. For a traditional brick and mortar business, you might think in terms of several weeks before meaningful momentum begins. You build awareness, you create familiarity, you introduce your offer, you create experiences, you get referrals, you establish credibility. In digital marketing, I encourage businesses to think even longer. For many businesses, 2 to 3 months of consistent strategic marketing is a more realistic starting window for building momentum. That does not mean sales magically appear at month 3. It means your audience needs time to encounter, understand, remember, evaluate, and trust your brand. And this is where leadership matters. If you expect a marketing team to produce a major commercial result in 2 weeks while giving them a small budget, limited resources, inconsistent direction, and no time to build an audience, you're not setting a strategy, you're setting a trap. Don't pressure the team instead of fixing the strategy. Sometimes business owners say, our marketing isn't working, then the marketing team gets pressured, post more, make it viral, run another promotion. Why aren't we getting sales? But here's the question I would ask as a strategist. Did you give the marketing strategy enough time to work? Did you give it a reasonable budget? Did you establish clear positioning? Did you define the audience? Did you create enough content? Did you consistently communicate the value? Did you give customers enough reasons to trust you? Marketing isn't a vending machine. You don't put money into advertising today and automatically receive customers tomorrow. There is a process, and leaders need to understand that process. Awareness is not the same as sales. Not every marketing activity is supposed to generate an immediate sale. Sometimes content introduces you, sometimes it educates, sometimes it demonstrates expertise, sometimes it proves that other customers trust you, sometimes it simply reminds people that you exist. Think about a coffee shop. The first time someone sees your post, they may not buy. The second time, they notice your product. The third time, they see a customer enjoying it. The fourth time, they learn your story. The fifth time, a friend mentions your business. The sixth time, they happen to be nearby. Finally, they walk in. Which post caused the sale? Maybe all of them. The sale was the result of accumulated trust. Think about your own buying behavior. If someone you've never heard of sends you a message today saying, buy my 50,000 peso service, would you immediately pay? Probably not. But what if you've followed that person for 6 months? You've watched their videos, you've learned from their content, you've seen their clients, you've heard them explain problems you experience, you've watched them consistently show up. Then one day they offer a service that solves your problem. The decision becomes easier. Why? Relationship reduced the risk. That is what good marketing does. Stop treating marketing like a panic button. Marketing should not be the panic button you press when sales are down. Branding should not be something you remember when you need a new logo. Social media should not be a place where you dump promotional materials every day. Your marketing should be part of your larger business vision. Your brand establishes what you want to be known for. Your marketing communicates that promise. Your customer experience proves that promise. Your sales process converts the trust you've built. Your consistency turns customers into advocates. That is a system. Don't jump off the cliff. One of the most dangerous mindsets in business is, we need results now, so let's pressure everyone. That's not strategy, that's panic. If you have not given the market enough time to know you, trust you, and understand your value, demanding immediate results is like planting a seed today and shouting at the soil tomorrow because there is no tree. You don't need to shout at the seed. You need to give it the right environment, give your team clear direction, give them enough resources, give the strategy enough time, study the data, adjust the execution, learn the platform, understand the customer, improve the offer, keep showing up. Here's is the executive question. So if you're a CEO, entrepreneur, manager, or business owner, stop asking, why aren't we selling yet? Start asking, what relationship are we building that will make the sale easier? That's a much more strategic question. Businesses don't grow simply because they sell harder. They grow when more people understand them, trust them, experience their value, and eventually choose them. Marketing and branding are not shortcuts to sales. They are the disciplines that make sustainable sales possible. If you're building a business for the long term, you cannot afford to think only about today's transaction. Think about tomorrow's relationship, because the goal isn't simply to get someone to buy once. The goal is to become the business they remember, trust, return to, and recommend. I'm Coach Nile, and this is Inside the Brand. Remember, don't start with selling, start with relationship, because when trust comes before the transaction, selling stops feeling like pressure and starts feeling like a natural next step.